welcome to your deep dive. Today we're going to be cracking open MJ Demarco's The Millionaire Fastlane
Oh, yeah.
to see what it really takes to build wealth.
And fast.
And fast, right? This isn't about, like clipping coupons or waiting for retirement, right?
No.
It's about understanding the systems that generate real, lasting financial freedom.
Absolutely. The book challenges conventional get-rich-slow advice, right? Arguing that just relying solely on jobs and savings and market investments just takes way too long and leaves you vulnerable to factors that are completely outside of your control.
Yeah, like right off the bat, Demarco kind of throws this at you, the Lamborghini prophecy, right?
Right.
Which is basically, this encounter he had as a teenager with a Lamborghini Countach owner.
Oh, yeah.
That really kind of set him on this mission to decode wealth creation and figure out how to do it quickly.
Yeah, that encounter, it really set him on this mission to decode, what is the blueprint of wealth creation? And he boils it down to 3 distinct roadmaps that people follow.
Okay, so what are these roadmaps to wealth or lack thereof?
All right. So first, you've got the sidewalk, right? And the sidewalk is all about instant gratification, no plan, just living for the moment.
Okay.
It's a recipe for financial disaster, really, Often leads to debt and struggle.
Ouch, that one doesn't sound fun. What's the next one?
Okay, so next up, you got the slow lane. And this is like the most well-traveled path, where this is the one, get a good job, save diligently, invest in the stock market. And now, while this path is generally considered the responsible thing to do, it can take decades to see any substantial wealth. And even then, you're at the mercy of market fluctuations and economic downturns.
So it's slow and unreliable.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the alternative?
The fast lane. So the fast lane is the one Demarco really champions.
Okay.
This is where you create businesses that solve needs, you have control over your income, you detach your time from making money. This is the route that has the potential to build significant wealth much faster. But of course, it demands hard work, dedication, smart risk-taking.
It's interesting that he points out the slow lane's reliance on things that are outside your control, right? Like market performance, your employer's decisions.
You're not in the driver's seat.
You're not really in the driver's seat at all. Yeah.
Exactly. And he argues that whole mentality often keeps people trapped in this cycle of, trading time for money, right?
Yeah.
With limited potential for real wealth creation. But it's not about reckless risk-taking either, right? It's about what he calls intelligent risk.
Okay.
This is, where the potential upside outweighs the downside.
Calculated, yeah.
Yeah, calculated decisions, exactly.
He also really hammers home the importance of building businesses that address, real market needs, right?
Yes.
That's where his commandment of need comes in, right?
Yes, and this is something he urges entrepreneurs to really focus on. It's not about just following your passions. It's about solving problems. Like, he tells a story about this martial arts expert, right?
Okay.
Who failed miserably because he was so focused on his love for martial arts.
Yeah.
He didn't even consider what does the market actually want?
What the actual demand is, yeah.
What the actual demand is. And so it's a stark reminder that even if you're super passionate about something, it won't automatically translate into a successful business unless it fills a genuine need.
Like Demarco's own journey is a good example of this, right?
Yes.
He started out building websites based on his skills, but kind of hit a wall.
He did. He hit a wall, and he realized he had to shift gears and focus on solving a specific market need. And that's when he stumbled upon the idea for his limousine service website, right? He was connecting travelers with limo services in different cities, and that shift in perspective is really what led to his breakthrough. So it illustrates how important identifying and fulfilling a need is fundamental to his Fastlane success.
So how do you find these needs? What about competition?
So that brings us to another key concept, the commandment of entry.
Okay.
This warns against diving headfirst into these overcrowded, easy entry fields where competition is fierce, right? Think of network marketing, right?
Okay.
Might seem appealing at first, but it often results in this intense competition and very little control over your business.
Yeah, he says network marketing's fine if you're the one creating the company, but not so much if you're just a distributor.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
So he urges aspiring entrepreneurs To aim for businesses that offer unique value and stand out from the crowd,
Yeah.
find a niche
Right.
where you can really differentiate yourself and
Yeah.
create a sustainable advantage.
This makes me think about his commandment of control, where he talks about really owning your business and not letting it own you.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a big proponent of maintaining control over your products, your pricing, your marketing.
Yeah.
So you don't become just another cog in someone else's machine, right? Like
Yeah.
he uses the example of franchise owners who often have limited control over their operations
Yeah.
and are at the mercy of the franchisor's decisions.
Right.
He advocates for building a business where you have the autonomy to make strategic choices and adapt to changing market conditions.
Yeah. And that kind of brings us to the commandment of time, right?
Right?
Which is all about designing businesses that can generate income without your constant attention.
Yes.
It's all about passive or semi-passive income streams. Like he gives the example of, building a website that earns ad revenue even when you're not actively working on it.
Exactly. Yeah, that concept of time freedom is a core part of his philosophy. He challenges that whole idea that you have to work tirelessly for decades before you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor.
And then there's the commandment of scale, right? Which is
Yeah.
like thinking big, aim for businesses that could impact millions of people, whether through high sales volume or high-value transactions.
Yes.
He uses the example of his own limousine service website again, where a simple redesign drastically increased the number of leads he generated.
Yeah, it shows the power of scale. So it all comes back to creating businesses with the potential for a significant reach and impact.
This all sounds pretty abstract. You give some concrete examples.
Of course. So Demarco actually outlines several specific business models that fit these Fastlane principles, what he calls money tree seedlings.
Okay.
And these include, subscription services, content systems, lead generation services, and e-commerce.
Okay.
And he gives real-world examples for each of these to show how they can be leveraged to create wealth.
So, like, what's an example of a money tree seedling?
All right, so let's start with subscription services, right?
Okay.
So he highlights the power of recurring revenue, right? Yeah. And he shares this fascinating example of this website monitoring service that has 20,000 clients paying $50 a month.
Okay.
Right.
That's $1 million in monthly revenue.
It is. And
Yeah.
the beauty of the subscription model is that you're not constantly chasing new customers.
Right.
Once you acquire a customer, they keep paying you month after month.
Ideally.
Ideally, exactly.
Okay, what about content systems?
So content systems, which includes things like books, blogs, online courses, really tap into your own interests and expertise, right?
Yeah.
The digital age has made it so much easier to create and distribute content, reaching a global audience.
So what's the key to making that work?
The key is, providing valuable information that resonates with your target audience. You have to build an audience and establish yourself as an authority
Right.
in your chosen niche.
Okay, and lead generation services are another interesting one.
Yeah. Lead generation services work by aggregating fragmented industries and connecting businesses with potential customers,
Okay.
Think back to Demarco's limousine service website, right? It aggregated all these limo companies in different cities
Yeah.
and then provided those companies leads.
Right, so you're essentially solving a key problem for businesses, right? That providing them with qualified leads, saving them time and effort in their marketing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And lastly, there's e-commerce.
Right.
It's just exploded in recent years.
Yeah.
And, even a small operation can potentially reach a global market these days.
Yeah, what are some of the keys to success with e-commerce?
Well, he really stresses finding a niche, offering unique products,
Right.
and providing excellent customer service.
Yeah.
The e-commerce world is very, very competitive.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see such a diverse range of business opportunities that align with this Fastlane philosophy.
Yeah.
But it all sounds like a lot of work.
Well, he certainly acknowledges the challenges of building a Fastlane business. It takes a strong work ethic, resilience, and a willingness to constantly learn and adapt.
Yeah.
He also emphasizes embracing failure as a learning opportunity, and constantly iterating and improving your business.
So it's not about finding some magic formula or getting rich quick.
Right.
It's about a different mindset altogether.
Absolutely. It's about adopting a mindset of continuous learning, innovation, and creating real value, you know? And most importantly, it's about taking ownership of your financial future
Yeah.
and not relying on these outdated methods that promise slow and uncertain results.
It sounds like there's a lot more to dig into with these money tree seedlings, right?
There is, and we'll unpack those further along with some crucial insights about the money system in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, great.
Welcome back. Last time we left off talking about money tree
Right.
seedlings.
Those specific business models.
Yeah, that align with Demarco's Fastlane principles.
Right. Like
Yeah.
subscription services, content systems, lead generation, all designed to, create real wealth.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens once you start making that money, right?
Right.
Like, how do you manage it the fast lane way?
So that's where the money system comes in, and Demarco argues that the traditional advice of, saving and investing in the stock market
Right.
isn't enough for true financial freedom.
Okay.
He advocates for a more proactive and strategic approach to managing and growing your wealth.
Okay. So what does that actually look like? What's different about, the money system?
So he talks about this idea of becoming your own banker,
Okay.
which is a really intriguing concept.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's about creating a system where you control your finances and leverage your wealth to generate passive income,
Okay.
rather than relying on traditional banks and institutions.
So instead of just putting money in a savings account or relying solely on the stock market,
Right.
you're finding alternative ways to make your money work for you.
Exactly. He encourages entrepreneurs to explore things like private lending, real estate investing,
Right.
other alternative investments that offer potentially higher returns and more control over your capital.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, diversification and risk management are still crucial
Right.
for building a robust money system.
Yeah. It sounds like the money system is all about shifting your mindset from being like a passive saver
Right.
to an active investor,
Yes.
even with your own business profits, right?
Right. It's about taking control and making strategic decisions that align with your financial goals. So now another concept he brings up is the law of affection.
Okay.
He states that to make millions, you must impact millions.
That sounds pretty profound. What's the idea behind that?
It emphasizes the importance of scale and magnitude in wealth creation. So Demarco argues that the more lives you touch, either through the sheer number of people you serve or the magnitude of the value you provide, the greater your potential for wealth becomes.
Yeah.
Think about it. Businesses that operate on a small scale or offer limited value, they're unlikely to generate substantial wealth.
So this isn't about getting rich by yourself, but about building something that genuinely helps a lot of people.
Exactly. It's a reminder to think big,
Yeah.
and aim for businesses that solve real problems on a large scale,
Hmm.
adding tangible value to people's lives. So now, Demarco also emphasizes the importance of owning yourself.
What does that mean in this context?
It's all about personal responsibility and accountability, and he argues that too many people fall into this trap of blaming external factors for their financial situation. They
Yes.
become victims of circumstance.
Right. So it's about taking ownership of your choices and actions, regardless of your circumstances.
Right. He challenges that whole victim mentality and encourages readers to make conscious decisions that align with their financial goals.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control everything that happens in life,
Right.
but you can control how you respond to it.
So it's about having like a proactive and empowered approach to your finances
Exactly.
instead of feeling helpless.
Absolutely. And that ties into his emphasis on the importance of education.
Okay.
He believes that education doesn't stop at graduation.
Right.
It's a lifelong pursuit.
So it's not just about like formal education, but about constantly seeking new knowledge and skills.
Exactly. He argues that the more you learn, the greater your potential for success in the fast lane becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty is the information is readily available, books, online courses, mentors, it's all out there.
I think a lot of people struggle with feeling overwhelmed by all the information available these days, though.
That's true, but, his point is you have to actively seek it out and absorb it. It's
Yeah.
about being proactive and taking responsibility for your own learning.
So how do you make sure you're not just like accumulating knowledge, but actually putting it into practice?
So that brings us to another important concept, parasitic debt. And Demarco highlights the dangers of accumulating debt that doesn't serve your financial goals.
Right.
He calls out this thing called lifestyle inflation, where people, as they earn more,
Yeah.
they spend more,
Right.
accumulating debt that keeps them tied to their jobs and
Mhm.
prevents them from building real wealth.
It's that classic cycle of working harder to earn more, but then spending more to keep up with the Joneses.
Exactly. And he makes a crucial distinction between good debt and bad debt. Good debt, like a mortgage on a rental property that generates positive cash flow.
Right.
That can be a tool for building wealth. But bad debt, like credit card debt or loans for depreciating assets,
Yeah.
that can really erode your wealth.
So it's about being mindful of the type of debt you're taking on
Mm.
and making sure it's aligned with your financial goals.
Right. And ultimately, it comes down to developing a healthy relationship with money and resisting the trap of consumerism
Right.
that leads to unnecessary debt.
Yeah, so much of this comes down to mindset.
Absolutely. Demarco emphasizes that your thoughts and beliefs play a huge role in your financial success. And, he encourages readers to adopt a positive and abundance-oriented mindset.
Okay, so he's saying that negative thoughts and limiting beliefs can actually sabotage your efforts to build wealth.
Exactly. And he pushes readers to challenge their assumptions, reframe their thinking.
Right.
It's also about surrounding yourself with positive and supportive people who believe in your vision.
But mindset alone isn't enough, right?
Of course not. DeMarco also talks about the importance of action.
Right.
Knowledge is useless without action. He encourages readers to take consistent action towards their goals, even if they don't have all the answers or a perfect plan.
So it's about getting started, even if you're not 100% sure of everything.
Exactly. The key is to take that first step and keep moving forward. And he also emphasizes perseverance, He acknowledges that the road to Fastlane success isn't always smooth. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way.
So what's the key to overcoming those challenges?
Resilience. Embracing failure as a learning opportunity and developing the mental toughness to keep going even when things get tough. Success often comes after a series of failures.
Right.
And it's about learning from those mistakes and using them to refine your approach.
Yeah, that kind of brings to mind this idea of distancing yourself from most people. What's the thinking behind that?
So DeMarco argues that most people are content with mediocrity. They just follow the traditional path, get a job, save a little, hope for the best. And he challenges this conventional wisdom and encourages readers to break free from that herd mentality.
So it's about forging your own path and not just accepting the status quo.
Exactly. The path to extraordinary success often requires unconventional thinking and actions. He urges readers to question the status quo and embrace the discomfort that comes with pursuing a path less traveled.
That makes me think about this concept of redlined effort.
Ah, yes, redlined effort.
Right.
So DeMarco argues that achieving Fastlane success requires a high level of effort and commitment. There are no shortcuts or easy solutions.
He's saying that you have to be willing to put in the work to really push yourself.
Absolutely. But he also emphasizes that the rewards of Fastlane success are worth the effort,
Right.
He challenges readers to embrace the grind and to push themselves beyond their comfort zones.
But what about risk? How does that fit into the equation?
So he talks about taking intelligent risks,
Okay.
which is a really important distinction.
Right.
He encourages calculated risks where you assess the potential upside and downside before jumping in, Intelligent risks, as he defines them, have a limited downside and an unlimited upside.
So it's not about being reckless, but about strategically assessing the potential rewards and consequences before taking a risk.
Exactly. And he cautions against moronic risks, which have an unlimited downside and a limited upside.
Got it.
The fast lane is about making smart, calculated moves.
Yeah.
Not about gambling recklessly.
That makes sense. I think a lot of people get stuck in the planning phase, though. What's DeMarco's advice for them?
Take action now. He stresses that there's no better time to start pursuing your fast lane goals than right now.
Yeah.
Procrastination is the enemy of progress.
Right. So he's saying that you don't have to wait for the perfect moment or have everything figured out before you start.
Right, Even small actions taken consistently can lead to big results over time.
Yeah.
And again, he emphasizes that this is a marathon, not a sprint. The key is to keep moving forward, one step at a time.
So it's all about taking that first step and building momentum.
Exactly. And then it's about choosing the right path, which he refers to as the road to wealth. And DeMarco argues that not all paths lead to wealth.
Yeah.
And you have to be intentional about the one you choose.
So it's not about finding like a specific job or business, but about adopting the right mindset and principles.
Exactly. He encourages readers to assess their current path and make adjustments as needed.
Okay.
Remember, The fast lane is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
The key is to keep moving forward and to constantly seek opportunities to accelerate your wealth creation.
So how do you stay on the right path?
Yeah.
What are, like, the guiding principles?
That's where his 5 fast lane commandments come in.
Okay, what are those?
These are like the pillars of the fast lane philosophy. So first is, thou shalt not invest in a needless business.
Okay.
Demarco stresses building businesses that solve real problems.
Right.
Fulfill genuine market needs.
So it's not just about starting any business, but about making sure it provides real value.
Right. The second commandment is, thou shalt not trade time for money.
Okay.
He wants entrepreneurs to focus on creating businesses that generate passive or semi-passive income.
Right. It's about creating systems that work for you even when you're not actively working.
Yeah, exactly. Third is, thou shalt not operate on a limited scale. It goes back to the law of affection.
Right.
Demarco emphasizes building businesses that have the potential for significant reach and impact.
Thinking big.
Yes. Fourth is, thou shalt not relinquish control.
Okay.
Demarco stresses the importance of owning your business and making strategic decisions that align with your vision.
Right. So it's about being in the driver's seat, making the calls.
Right. And finally, thou shalt not let a business startup be an event-over process.
Okay.
He highlights that building a successful business is an ongoing process.
Mm-hmm.
It requires consistent effort and attention.
It's about continuous improvement and adaptation.
Exactly. Now, Demarco also provides some concrete examples of fast lane businesses, those that align with these principles.
Like what?
Well, he highlights subscription-based businesses, content systems, lead generation services, and e-commerce
Right.
as promising avenues for wealth creation. But he stresses that these are just a few examples and that there are countless other business opportunities out there.
So it's about applying the principles to find the right opportunity for you.
Right. The key is to identify a need, create a solution, and build a business that can scale
Right.
and generate passive income.
It sounds like there are, like, different levels of alignment with the fast lane principles, though.
You're right. He introduces this concept of fast lane purity, where the ideal business embodies all 5 commandments perfectly.
Right. But he acknowledges that not all businesses will achieve that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He encourages entrepreneurs to strive for as much alignment as possible,
Right.
recognizing that businesses that deviate significantly from the commandments are less likely to achieve the same level of wealth and freedom.
Right. That's helpful. So how do you actually start putting these principles into action?
So he dives into some specific money tree seedlings that can be used to create those fast lane businesses.
Okay.
We touched on these earlier, but there's a lot more to uncover.
Great. Let's explore those further and see how they can be applied in the real world.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Millionaire Fastlane.
Yeah, we're ready to keep going.
All right, so we left off talking about money tree seedlings, those business models that can really accelerate your path to wealth.
Yeah, they really make the fast lane concept feel a lot more tangible, like you can actually see how it works.
Absolutely. So let's dive into a few.
Okay.
Demarco starts with subscription-based services. He really highlights the power of recurring revenue, that steady, predictable income stream.
Like that example he gave, the website monitoring service with 20,000 clients.
Yes.
Paying $50 a month.
$1 million in monthly revenue.
Crazy, yeah.
And he emphasizes that these types of businesses can be highly scalable and often automated.
Right.
Meaning you're not constantly trading your time for money.
It's about building a system that generates income whether you're actively working or not.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Another money tree seedling is content systems. Demarco sees huge potential in creating and distributing valuable information through things like books, blogs, online courses, other digital media.
Right. The digital age has made it so much easier to reach a global audience. But what's the key to making a content system work?
It's about providing information that solves a problem
Okay.
or fulfills a need for your target audience. You have to build an audience and establish yourself as an authority in your niche.
So it's not just about creating content. It's about creating the right content for the right people.
Exactly. And content systems can generate passive income through various monetization strategies like advertising, affiliate marketing, selling your own products and services.
Okay. Makes sense.
We also talked about lead generation services.
Right. How do those work as a fast lane business?
So lead generation businesses connect other businesses with potential potential customers.
Okay.
They aggregate fragmented industries and provide qualified leads, saving companies time and effort in their marketing. It's a win-win. The lead generation business profits, and the client business gets access to qualified leads.
Like Demarco's own limousine service website.
Right.
Yeah.
And finally, there's e-commerce, which has just exploded in recent years.
I think a lot of people are drawn to e-commerce because of its potential reach and scalability.
Absolutely. Demarco emphasizes the importance of finding a niche, offering unique products,
Right.
providing exceptional customer service in this highly competitive world of e-commerce.
Yeah.
You also have to be mindful of the logistics of shipping and fulfillment.
Right.
But done well, e-commerce can be a very rewarding business model.
Okay, so those money tree seedlings give a really good overview of the types of businesses that can thrive in the fast lane. But even with a great business idea, I imagine there's still going to be challenges and setbacks along the way.
Demarco certainly acknowledges that. He talks about the importance of iteration, constantly improving and refining your business. No business is perfect from the start,
Right.
and you have to be willing to test, gather feedback, and adapt based on what you learn.
So it's a continuous process of learning and improvement.
Exactly. He also emphasizes the importance of speed, taking action quickly and decisively.
So this doesn't mean being reckless, but it means avoiding procrastination.
It does, and it means having a bias towards action.
Okay, I think a lot of people struggle with analysis paralysis, overthinking things, and never actually getting started.
It's a common trap, but Demarco urges entrepreneurs to overcome that and just start taking action. The faster you move, the more you learn, and the faster you progress.
But it's not just about speed, it's about being strategic too, right?
Absolutely. Demarco uses the analogy of chess, not checkers, to illustrate this point.
Right.
Building a successful fast lane business requires strategic thinking,
Right.
planning your moves carefully, and anticipating your opponent's actions.
So it's about thinking several steps ahead and having a long-term vision for your business.
Right, but it's also about execution, Ideas are worthless without execution. The most brilliant business idea won't succeed if it's not brought to life.
Right. It's about putting in the work, being organized, having the discipline to follow through on your plans.
Exactly. And Demarco stresses the importance of listening to your customers.
Okay.
He calls this the tribe has spoken, and he argues that your customers are the ultimate judges of your business.
So it's about being responsive to customer feedback and using that information to improve your products and services.
Yes, Demarco encourages entrepreneurs to actively seek feedback and use it to refine their offerings. He even suggests paying attention to complaints, as they can often reveal weaknesses in your business that you might not have noticed otherwise.
That's an interesting way to look at complaints.
Right. He argues that complaints, when addressed effectively, can actually lead to increased customer satisfaction and loyalty.
I think that's a really valuable perspective.
Now, Demarco also talks about the importance of building a strong team.
Yeah.
You can't do everything yourself. And he stresses the need to surround yourself with talented and dedicated individuals who can help you achieve your goals.
He uses the phrase, your castle is mismanaged, to describe the consequences of hiring the wrong people.
Exactly. Hiring mistakes can be costly and time-consuming, so it's crucial to be strategic and deliberate in your hiring processes. Find people who are not only skilled, but also reliable, trustworthy, and aligned with your company culture.
It's about building a team that shares your vision and is committed to your mission.
Right. And Demarco cautions against falling into the 50-50 fallacy,
Which is?
splitting profits equally with a business partner.
Okay, and why is that a fallacy?
He argues that this arrangement can lead to resentment and conflict, especially when one partner is contributing more than the other.
Right, it's about finding a more equitable arrangement that incentivizes hard work and contribution.
Exactly. And Demarco also warns against hiring people who are more interested in minimizing their work hours than in contributing to the success of the business.
He calls them 4-hour workweek hijackers.
Yes. While work-life balance is important, it shouldn't come at the expense of productivity and commitment. Find people who are passionate about what they do and are wanting to put in the effort to achieve great results.
Yeah, so much of this comes down to finding the right people.
Absolutely. Demarco also stresses the importance of honesty and integrity in business. He calls out liar hijackers, individuals who are dishonest or untrustworthy.
Okay.
Hiring someone like that can have disastrous consequences.
Yeah, it's essential to thoroughly vet potential employees and look for those red flags that might indicate a lack of integrity.
Right. And finally, Demarco cautions against hiring "it's not my job" hijackers.
Okay.
People who are unwilling to go above and beyond their job descriptions,
Right.
Most successful businesses are built by teams of individuals who are willing to wear multiple hats and do whatever it takes to get the job done.
It's about creating a culture of collaboration and teamwork where everyone is invested in the success of the business.
Exactly. Demarco summarizes this all with the phrase, trust, but verify.
Okay.
Trust your gut, but always do your due diligence.
Right.
Verify information, conduct thorough background checks on potential employees and partners.
Yeah, it's about being cautious and protecting your business from potential harm.
Now, all of this hard work and careful planning won't matter much if you don't prioritize customer service. Demarco talks about creating service that doesn't suck, which is all about exceeding customer expectations and creating memorable, enjoyable experiences.
He uses the example of a hotel with luxurious amenities but terrible customer service.
Yeah.
Like no amount of fancy features can compensate for a negative customer service experience.
Right. He emphasizes that human interaction is crucial. Train your employees to be attentive, responsive, and genuinely helpful. And remember, satisfied customers can become your biggest advocates, he calls this, free human resource systems.
It's like word-of-mouth marketing on steroids.
Exactly. When you create exceptional customer experiences, people can't help but tell others about it.
Right.
Now, another thing that surprised me was DeMarco's perspective on competition,
Okay.
He suggests forgetting about your competition 95% of the time.
I know, it sounds counterintuitive, right?
It does, but his point is that obsessing over the competition can distract you from what truly matters.
Yeah.
Innovating, serving your customers, and building a strong brand.
Like when you focus on delivering exceptional value, your customers become your best marketing tool.
Exactly. DeMarco suggests using the remaining 5% of your time to analyze your competitors' weaknesses.
Okay.
Not to copy them,
Right.
but to identify opportunities to differentiate your business and offer something unique.
Right. That brings us to another key concept, avoiding commoditization.
Right. DeMarco warns against building businesses that are easily replicated or that offer no unique value proposition.
Right.
Commoditized businesses are forced to compete on price,
Right.
which can lead to a race to the bottom where profit margins shrink and businesses struggle to survive.
So it's about creating something distinctive, whether it's a unique product, a superior service, or an innovative business model.
Exactly. Differentiation is key to building a sustainable and profitable business. And DeMarco takes this a step further by arguing that entrepreneurs should focus on building brands, not businesses.
Okay. What's the distinction there?
He highlights that brands evoke emotions and create connections with customers, while businesses simply transact.
Right.
Brands command higher prices, attract loyal customers, and have a greater ability to withstand competition.
So it's about creating something that people connect with on an emotional level, not just a product or service.
Right. And DeMarco introduces a brand perception ladder to illustrate this.
Okay.
It starts with awareness, then moves to familiarity, consideration, preference, and ultimately loyalty.
The higher a brand climbs on that ladder, the more valuable and resilient it becomes.
Exactly. Building a strong brand requires developing a clear brand identity, your name, logo, colors, messaging, overall personality. It also requires crafting the compelling, unique selling proposition, or USP.
Right. That's that clear statement of what makes your brand different and better than the competition.
Right. And once you have a strong brand identity and USP, you need to effectively market your brand to your target audience. DeMarco stresses the importance of using a variety of marketing channels and being creative and innovative to stand out from the noise.
He calls this rising above the noise, and he offers several strategies for doing so.
Right. He suggests polarizing your brand, arousing emotions, being risque within reason, encouraging interaction, being unconventional.
Right. Not all of those strategies will be appropriate for every brand, but the point is to find ways to stand out.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, DeMarco also challenges traditional thinking about pricing. He introduces the pricing paradox, arguing that price isn't always the most important factor for consumers.
Okay.
He highlights that people often associate higher prices with higher quality, and that pricing your products too low can actually damage your brand by creating the perception of inferiority.
Right.
The right price maximizes profitability while reflecting the value you provide.
It's about understanding the perceived value of your brand and pricing accordingly.
Exactly. And while we're on the topic of challenging assumptions, DeMarco also discusses the power of free.
It seems counterintuitive to give things away for free when you're trying to build a business.
It can be, but DeMarco argues that offering free products or services can be a powerful marketing strategy when used strategically.
Okay.
Free offerings can generate awareness, attract new customers, and build goodwill.
It's about creating a sense of reciprocity, where people feel compelled to give back after receiving something for free.
Exactly. Now, when it comes to building a business, DeMarco is a big advocate for business monogamy, focusing on one business at a time until it's firmly established
Okay.
and generating significant income.
So he cautions against spreading yourself too thin by trying to juggle multiple businesses simultaneously.
Right. He calls this tendency to jump from one opportunity to the next Teckle syndrome, and he argues that it prevents entrepreneurs from developing the focus and persistence required for success.
So it's about choosing your battles and committing fully to the ventures you choose.
Exactly. Now, DeMarco acknowledges that some entrepreneurs are capable of successfully managing multiple businesses, which he calls business polygamy, but he emphasizes that this ability typically comes after achieving significant success with their initial venture.
It's not something to attempt right out of the gate.
Definitely not. Now, to help entrepreneurs accelerate their wealth-building journey, DeMarco offers a series of tips he calls supercharging your wealth plan.
Okay, what are some of those tips?
Well, he uses the acronym FASTLANE SUPERTHARGR to represent these steps.
Okay.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
But each letter stands for an important action entrepreneurs can take.
Can we break down a few of those?
Sure. So F is for focus, having a clear vision for your business and focusing your energy and resources on achieving that vision. A is for action, taking consistent action towards your goals, even if you don't have all the answers. S is for systems, developing systems and processes that can automate and streamline your business operations.
Okay.
T is for traffic, driving traffic to your business through various marketing strategies. L is for leads, generating potential customers who have expressed interest in your products or services.
Okay.
A is for automation, using tools and technology to streamline tasks and free up your time.
Right.
Is for net profit, focusing on increasing revenue while controlling expenses to ensure profitability.
Makes sense.
And E is for education, continuous learning and development through books, courses, and mentorship.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
It is, and there are more.
Yeah.
But the key takeaway is that building a successful Fastlane business requires a multifaceted approach.
It's not just about having a great idea, it's about taking action, building systems, marketing effectively, managing your finances wisely, and continuously learning and improving.
Exactly. Now, DeMarco also provides specific advice for different groups of individuals,
Right.
recognizing that people are at different stages in their lives and careers.
Like what?
Well, he offers encouragement to the discouraged graduate who's feeling disillusioned with the traditional career path.
Right.
He provides strategies for the stuck employee who's feeling trapped in their job and seeking a way out. He highlights the unique challenges and opportunities faced by the teacher who's often passionate about their work but also faces financial limitations.
Yeah.
And he offers guidance to the roadblocked entrepreneur who's facing obstacles in their business and needs strategies for overcoming them.
Yeah, it's great that he addresses those different perspectives and offers tailored advice.
It is. And he also takes the time to address some common criticisms of his philosophy.
Oh, like what?
Well, he addresses the criticisms that he's materialistic,
Okay.
that he's hypocritical, and that he's unrealistic.
How does he respond to those?
He acknowledges that he uses examples of luxury items to illustrate the potential of the fast lane,
Yeah.
but he stresses that material possessions are not the end goal, but simply a byproduct of achieving financial freedom.
Yep.
He highlights that he's achieved financial freedom himself and no longer needs to work for a living. But he continues to do so because he's passionate about helping others achieve their goals.
Right.
And he acknowledges that the fast lane is not for everyone.
Right.
And that it requires hard work, dedication, and a willingness to take risks. It's a long-term strategy that requires a fundamental shift in mindset.
It sounds like he's acknowledging the criticisms while also reaffirming the core principles of his philosophy.
Exactly. And in his concluding thoughts, DeMarco encourages readers to embrace the fast lane philosophy.
Yeah.
And to start taking action towards their financial goals. He stresses that the journey to financial freedom is not always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. He believes that everyone has the potential to achieve financial success if they're willing to put in the effort and adopt the right mindset.
Yeah, he leaves readers with that thought-provoking question. What legacy will you leave behind?
It's a powerful reminder that wealth isn't just about personal gain, it's also about making a positive impact on the world.
Right. It's about aligning your financial goals with your values and using your resources to make a difference.
Exactly. Now, throughout this deep dive,
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground.
We have?
We've explored the core principles of the Millionaire Fastlane, examined the different roadmaps to wealth, dissected the commandments and the money tree seedlings, and delved into DeMarco's insights on mindset, action, and building a successful business.
It's been a fascinating exploration of a very different approach to wealth creation.
It has. And as we wrap up, I encourage you to reflect on what resonated with you most from this deep dive. What ideas sparked your curiosity? What are you eager to explore further?
What actions are you inspired to take?
Remember, the fast lane is not a guarantee of overnight success. Right.
But it offers a framework for thinking differently about wealth, taking control of your finances, and creating a life of greater freedom and purpose.
And even if you choose not to pursue the fast lane, the principles we've discussed, like the importance of providing value, building systems, and taking ownership of your financial future,
Yes.
can be applied to any path you choose.
Absolutely. The key takeaway is to be proactive, to constantly learn and grow, and to never stop pursuing your goals.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Millionaire Fastlane. We hope you found it insightful and empowering.
Until next time, keep diving deep.